my young friends, gather round this old hearth if you will. I'm Elias now, 85 years weathered by the winds of time, my voice a bit raspy like autumn leaves underfoot. But my memories, they're as sharp as a winter's frost, burning bright in this weary heart of mine. Let me spin you a tale from days long gone, back when I was a strapping lad of 20, full of fire but green as spring grass. It all sparked on a pitch-black night that swallowed the stars whole, in the heart of rural Brazil, where the earth itself seemed to rebel. A thunderous roar shook the ground, not from the heavens, mind you, but from a swollen river bursting its banks after endless rains. In a flash, the floodwaters claimed our humble shack, our livestock, and the fragile hopes we'd sown in that soil. I lost my dear mother to those raging currents as she fought to save what little we had left. And me, clinging to a drifting log, hollering into the void for mercy that didn't come right away. How did I claw my way out of that abyss? Well, that's just the hook of the yarn that'll chill your bones and warm your spirit. Come along with me now, back through the years, for what followed was a saga of heartache, unyielding grit, and wonders that forged the soul you see before you. Back in the swing of 1960, Brazil was a land of stark divides. The big cities buzzed with whispers of modernity, but out in the countryside, in my little hamlet called Shadowbrook, named for the eerie tales of ghosts haunting the waterways, life was raw, dictated by the sun's rise, the storm's fury, and the hand of the Almighty. My father had passed on years earlier, felled by a merciless fever that stole him swift as a thief in the night, leaving me as the family's anchor. It was just me, my mother Rosa, and my little sister Lila, barely 10 and full of innocent spark. We scratched out a living on a modest plot, corn swaying tall, beans climbing vines, a handful of clucking hens, and a couple of milk cows that gave us our daily sustenance. It wasn't grand, but it was ours, rooted deep, until that fateful storm. The river, folks called it, the whispering serpent, for the old legends of spirits murmuring secrets in its flow, swelled beyond reckoning. Rain had pounded us for a solid week, the skies leaden and unforgiving, the ground a sopping mess that couldn't hold another drop. Rosa shook me awake in the dead of night, her eyes wide with terror. "Elias, the waters are rising. Grab Lila and head for the hilltop." But I, stubborn as an old oak, dashed out to free the animals first. Foolish pride that was. As I unlatched the barn, the roar hit like Judgment Day. The flood surged in like a vengeful beast, sweeping away fences, tools, our entire harvest. I caught a glimpse of Rosa reaching for Lila on the porch, the girls' cries piercing the chaos. I plunged in to reach them, but the torrent yanked me under. Last thing I saw was Rosa's hand outstretched, her voice lost in the din. Then nothing but cold, churning darkness. I came to at dawn's first light, hacking up mud and river grit, tangled in branches on the far bank. My body ached like it had been thrashed by giants, but breath still filled my lungs. I searched for hours, bellowing their names till my throat burned raw. But silence mocked me. The few neighbors who'd made it through found me, hauled me to the next village over. There, the bitter truth crashed down. Rosa was gone, claimed by the serpent. Lila, bless her, had been plucked from the wreckage by a kindly fisherman. But she was battered and frail. With my heart shattered like glass, I vowed to shield her with everything I had. But how? Our farm drowned, beasts lost, belongings scattered to the winds. We were paupers now, at the mercy of strangers' kindness. The weeks that dragged on were pure torment. We huddled in a makeshift shelter with other survivors, scraping by. I'd toil from dawn till dusk on others' lands, hacking sugarcane, sowing seeds in borrowed fields, earning scraps that barely fed us. Lila fell ill often. The damp and hunger gnawed at her like wolves. In her eyes I saw the shadow of loss, the yearning for our mother. And me, I wrestled a rage that simmered hot within. Why had the Lord allowed this? Why turn his back? Yet, in the depths of that despair, echoes of Rosa's teachings surfaced. She'd read from our worn family Bible by candlelight. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. I clung to it like a lifeline, doubting yet hoping, a beacon in the storm. I couldn't let us rot there in squalor. With the pennies I'd scraped together, I bought train tickets to São Paulo, the sprawling giant of a city promising better days. Lila and I boarded, bidding farewell to the ghosts of our old life. The ride was grueling, cars crammed with weary souls, reeking of despair, jolting over uneven tracks. Lila wept softly, and I'd weave tales of brave knights slaying dragons to soothe her. But inside my own dragon, fear roared loud. We arrived in 1961, stepping into a concrete jungle where skyscrapers blotted the sky. Me, a country boy, felt like a minnow in an ocean of sharks. I started as a porter at the station, heaving crates that strained my back till it screamed. It paid enough for a cramped room in the slums, where sewage ran like rivers and noise never slept. Lila attended the local school, but came home with tales of taunts over our rural twang. I'd labour 14 hours straight, but the coins stretched thin for bread and basics. Then came the next blow. Lila caught tuberculosis, rampant in those crowded hellholes. Doctors shrugged it off as common, but seeing her cough blood, wasting away to bones, tore me apart anew. I pawned what I could, borrowed from sharks with steep interest, but medicines cost a fortune. In sleepless nights, I prayed fierce, recalling Psalm 34:17-18. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Cry out I did, Lord, cry out I did. By some grace, Lila pulled through after grueling months. A compassionate doc, Senor Miguel, treated her on the cheap, saying he saw a fighter's spark in me. But victory tasted bitter with the debts piling high. To settle them, I dove into the building trade, raising those towering behemoths São Paulo craved. Risky work, rickety scaffolds, fatal slips. I lost comrades to falling beams or plummeting from dizzy heights. Broke my own arm once, tumbling from a 4th floor. Out of work for months, surviving on charity broth. Lila, 13 now, scrubbed floors to help, and it killed me seeing her youth stolen. That's when Sophia entered my world. Not like my mother, but a gentle soul from the neighborhood chapel. She volunteered as a nurse, her hazel eyes brimming with quiet strength. We met at a service where the priest preached on endurance. She listened to my woes and shared. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. James 1:2-4. Those words struck deep, reframing my scars as a smith's hammer shaping steel. We courted quietly. I felt unworthy, a battered wanderer. But she whispered, God binds us in our weakest hours. We wed in 1965, a modest affair with Lila, beaming as witness. Sophia brought steadiness. Her wages bolstered us, and together we claimed a scrap of land on the outskirts. I tilled a garden, raised chickens once more. Life hinted at mercy, yet trials persisted. The military regime clamped down, curfews breeding fear. Friends vanished into shadows, branded troublemakers. My jobs halted amid forced strikes. Unemployment hit, hunger knocking again. Worse, Sophia conceived, but birth brought peril. Our boy Thomas arrived early, fragile as a bird's egg. Hospital vigils stretched eternal, prayers our only weapon. I held to Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Thomas thrived against odds, but Sophia lingered weak for years. I turned freelance mason, building mansions for the wealthy while our hut stood humble. Lila, grown, wed, and headed north, leaving echoes of laughter. The 70s unleashed more shadows. Economic turmoil raged. Inflation devoured savings like fire. We sold the garden to stay afloat. Thomas battled asthma from the city's foul air. I'd pull double shifts, days on sites, nights guarding warehouses. At 40 I looked 60 body protesting, but faith anchored us. Sundays at chapel, hymns lifting us high. Sophia read Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. In 1975, catastrophe struck. A blaze tore through the slums. A forgotten lantern sparked it, flames leaping hut to hut. Our home vanished in smoke. I dragged Sophia and Thomas from the inferno, scorching my palms. Homeless again, we sheltered under stars till the chapel took us in. Amid the ashes I knelt, tears flowing. Lord, how much more? But Job 1:21 rose up. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. We rebuilt, stone by stone. Community hands helped raise a sturdier abode. Thomas grew sturdy, became a schoolmaster. Sophia mended, resumed her calling. I launched a tiny building firm, hiring fellow strugglers. Triumph bloomed slow but sure. The 80s brought democracy's dawn, easing the nation's breath. Lila returned with grandkids, filling rooms with joy. In them I saw my battle's harvest. Losses lingered though. In 1990, Sophia faced cancer's grip. 2 years of battles, treatments, fervent pleas. She slipped away serene, murmuring Philippians 4:13. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. At 52, widowed, the world dimmed. But Thomas and Lila propped me up. Remarriage? No. Sophia's love endured eternal. Now, at 85, I dwell with Thomas and his brood. Reflecting back, it's a mosaic of sorrow and splendor. Lost kin, home's vigor, beloved, yet overcame through belief, toil, affection. Trials built resilience. Grief bred gratitude for remnants. And the scriptures? My steadfast guides. Hebrews 12:1-2. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. Ah, dear ones, life's a winding river, overflowing at times, but with divine guidance, it leads to tranquil shores. Hold that close when storms brew. Now these old bones need rest, but return if you crave more. Tales abound yet, extending the narrative seamlessly, delving deeper to craft a 30-minute span, enriching with fresh layers while honoring the core. Let me rewind a tad further to flesh out the canvas. My boyhood was unadorned yet content. Born in 1940 to farm folk, my dad Marco was a silent giant. his calloused palms coaxing life from dirt. He'd school me in sowing under moonlight, claiming it blessed the yield. Rosa, the home's warmth, simmered stews that scented the air, gathering us for evening prayers. Lila chased fireflies, her giggles pure light. The flood wasn't our inaugural trial. In 1955, drought scorched the land. The serpent withered to cracked stones. Crops wilted, critters perished thirsty. Marco bartered for water, but scarcity bit hard. Lost my loyal hound scout to weakness. At 15 I dug wells till blisters bled. There endurance took root. Marco quoted Genesis 26:18-22 on Isaac's persistent well digging amid strife. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham. They dug another well, but they quarreled over that one also, so he named it Sitna. We endured rain's return, sparing remnants. Post-flood, urban São Paulo piled on woes. Station labor meant tyrants for bosses, treating us like mules. Once, a heavy load slipped. I shattered my leg. Bedridden weeks, no pay. Lila hawked sweets curbside to feed us. In agony, Psalm 23:4 comforted. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Construction sites bred peril. In 1963, a beam crushed mates. I dodged by inches. Shaken, I sought solace in bottles. Sophia pulled me back, chapel-bound. Heard Ephesians 6:10-11. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Quit the drink, channeled into kin. Marriage ushered bliss amid tests. Thomas born in 1966 during strikes. Hospitals overwhelmed, Sophia bled heavy. We beseeched, echoing Matthew 7:7-8. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be opened. He endured, blossomed bookish. 70s inflation ravaged. We pinched every coin. Thomas needed specs, funds scarce. Overtime bought them. He graduated educator in 1988, my pride swelling. Sophia's 1992 passing left me adrift at 52. Lived for grands, imparting life's wisdoms. In 2000, floods revisited São Paulo, echoing yesteryears. Our solid home held. I aided others, drawing from 2 Corinthians 13:26. 4:9. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. At 85, I ponder. Existence a faith marathon. Triumphed over grief via grace. Philippians 3:13-14. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do. Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Thus, my chronicle unfolds, a testament to resilience. Thanks for lending an ear, folks. May the Lord watch over you.